this intense like rumination on things. And my parents always would like kind of make fun of me for it, but in like it wasn't like a rude. Well, it was rude, but it wasn't like intentionally rude.
He's like
it was
joking,
more like a joke.
But they didn't realize like how hard it was.
Yeah,
on you
because nobody actually understood what I was like going through. Because like it's not saying that anyone really understood how bad it was, and I didn't understand how bad it was either. Because it's like your brain just can't get off a certain track. Like you try to stop it, to think about something else, to do something else, to like do all these things, but it just won't stop. And at that point, it's like you feel very unsafe in your own brain. You feel like you can't like live, like you're not like your brain isn't working properly because it's like it won't get off it, Napoleon, you know? It's like there's this one track of like, and it's the dumbest things, no offense to my brain, that it fixates on. And it's like, oh, fixating on like, oh, my fish being sick, recording this guitar thing, like getting sick, like anything like that. And it won't stop it, even though it's not that it presents a great danger to me. My brain thinks that it does. And it's not a physical danger, but more a mental danger. And like, there have been many nights where I'll wake up every few hours or every hour just like thinking about something or like, and it won't just like stop, and it'll go for literally days. Cultural view of OCD is like, I just wash my hands too much. OCD, I'm so clean. OCD, I'm so organized. Ooh, OCD,
Yeah, it's like OCD light.
And then it's like, bro, okay, like I get it. Those are real symptoms of OCD, but it's not like just that. And so, because I thought that was all it was.
OCD is like suffering.
Yeah.
It's
And
like a suffering disorder.
Yeah, as
that,
you
like,
called it, the OCD gods.
Yeah, I always say the OCD because I have OCD, and it's like the OCD gods. It's like these like militant, like dictatorial voices in your head that you can't get away from. That just like rule your life.
Yeah, and that's not something that people like bring up. It's just like, haha, I had to straighten these pens out.
People don't understand it in the culture.
And it's
that
like,
much.
and I get it. That's like a real like thing of it. But I think a lot of, because it's so colloquially used as a term, it's like no one really knows what it actually means, like in the mental side of it. Like there's a lot of, like if you don't have the physical side, like the physical things of it, which I don't have, then you wouldn't think that you had that. You just think you had anxiety.
There's multiple,
you don't have like physical.
there's multiple
I've never
types.
been the person that needed to like straighten everything or
like
do
check
everything.
Things,
Unless I'm super stressed
just
and something is
it's
messy, then it like really hurts my
I
brain.
think it's called pure OCD.
Yeah, I got this great therapist who actually like works with OCD, and it changed my changed my life and my brain. Like the way that I work is completely different because I already
have an understanding now.
I already knew how to work through deeper issues of like depression. Like I told her about how I wasn't in therapy for a year and I was really deeply depressed for a period of time, but I pulled myself. She's like, you did that? And I was like, yeah, I mean, I know how to deal with those kinds of things, like deeper emotional issues, but this whole like thought
mind
pattern,
track.
it's just
like you didn't
not
have any tools
working.
for this.
Yeah,
right?
Yes, and so then she taught me how to deal with it, and like actual things to do to like stop ruminating or to interrupt the rumination or to figure out. And like the biggest thing that I learned is that it's never about the nugget, it's about the lies. You know what I mean, guys? It's always about something that I never thought it was about.
So I started having these really bad nightmares, and I like that my husband would die. And this is all like very OCD related. I started developing a fear of touching knives because I was afraid that I was going to drop it and cut myself, and I was going to be alone and no one was going to help me. So I started like avoiding making certain meals because I didn't want to touch a knife because what if I drop it and no one's here? And I think the low point was this one night. I remember it so clearly. I went to bed and I woke in the middle of the night and I was covered in sweat. I had like a fever and my face was still like really swollen and I just was in a lot of pain. And I remember I had sleep paralysis. So I had this dream that Max died and I woke up and I was like, and I felt like this force was like pinning me to the bed. Like I can't move. And he was gone. He was at work, and I dreamed that he got in a car accident and died because he worked really early in the morning. So it was like 4 a.m. he was gone. Ooh. And I just remember I started panicking, like I can't make it through all these days of him being gone because he was about to be gone for 2 days in a row from 8 to 5 over the weekend. And I was like, I'm just alone with my thoughts, and I'm realizing how bad my mental health is because I don't have anything to distract me from it. So like I'm really like just afraid of everything. I'm afraid to touch knives and make a meal. Like, it just felt debilitated. So it was weird. Like, the physical stuff was really bad, but the mental stuff was worse. So that was probably the lowest point, was that moment. When I'm doing something that's really triggering my anxiety and OCD, I have a tendency to want to avoid it. But I'm realizing now I just need to face it and just look it in the face and do it, because if I don't do it, I'm going to be more scared of it. So I've kind of had that mentality now, like, don't give myself the easy way out, because I will always take it. So make myself do it, and then realize that you do have the strength to get through it. You did it a million times before, and every time I do it, it gets easier from then. So I just kind of kept doing that, and it got easier. And I forced myself to touch knives and to make food and not be afraid. And I was like, I didn't die. I'm fine.
Good for you.
Yeah, I gave myself exposure therapy. I also started seeing a therapist, because I was like, I am really in the tubes right now. And I'd already seen a therapist for years, but I had stopped going because just, I don't know, life. And then I like started up again. People who struggle with OCD generally have a great amount of caring for their loved ones, because a lot of it is connected to other people and your relationships and being afraid of losing something. And once I learned that, it was kind of like, I read something that said, like, people that struggle with anxiety generally are very compassionate. It's like you care too much. And I feel like OCD is really similar. It's different, but similar in that way.